problems like a beep. Want me to solve them. Keep beeping about your problems like a beep. Yeah, you keep beeping about your problems like a beep. Want me to solve them. Keep beeping about your problems like a beep.
I think we all know the phenomenon by now. People commenting on celebrities' choices and behavior as if they knew them personally. Countless TikTok posts of audiences basically confessing being in love with fictional characters or the actors they are played by. After having gone the rabbit hole of short-form videos of mostly youngers being obsessed with the actors from the most famous TV shows nowadays, such as Stranger Things or Heated Rivalry, I've been left quite concerned, to be honest. Some people don't seem to be able to draw a line between liking a celebrity and considering themselves fans of them, and being in full-blown parasocial relationships with them. This left me wondering, why do parasocial relationships play such a crucial role in online spaces nowadays, and are they harming us in any way? Because if so, we might be doomed. Since the mid-20th century, the landscape of human social interaction has expanded beyond face-to-face encounters to include meaningful connections with media figures. These phenomena, known as parasocial relationships, represent non-reciprocal social-emotional connections that individuals develop with celebrities, influencers, or fictional characters. While early research often viewed these bonds as atypical or compensatory for social deficit, contemporary scholarship identifies them as a normal consequence of media consumption that mirrors offline social relationships in complexity and emotional depth. Understanding what these relationships are, why they form, and how they impact mental health is crucial in an era where social media has made media personae more accessible than ever. A critical distinction must be made between parasocial interaction and parasocial relationships. According to the literature, a parasocial interaction refers to the immediate, illusionary experience of being in a mutual social interaction during a media encounter, such as when a TV host looks directly into the camera to greet the audience. A simulacrum of conversational give and take is a within viewing experience. In contrast, a parasocial relationship is an enduring bond that exists between the immediate viewing episode. While a parasocial interaction is a momentary feeling of mutual awareness, a parasocial relationship is a long-term social involvement that can take the form of friendship, romantic attraction, or even antipathy. Social media has significantly complicated these definitions. Platforms like Instagram and TikTok allow for episodic moments of actual interaction, such as a celebrity liking a fan's comment, which strengthens the parasocial bond. Furthermore, the functionality of social media, where a user follows a media figure in the same feed as a close friend, often blurs the lines between social and parasocial connections. The formation of parasocial relationships is rooted in fundamental psychological needs and cognitive processes. One of the primary drivers is the need to belong, a pervasive human desire for frequent, non-aversive interactions within stable relational bonds. When real-world social needs are prohibited, such as during the isolation of the COVID-19 pandemic, individuals often turn to media personae to satisfy this need. This process, termed social snacking, involves using symbolic reminders of connections, like watching a favorite character or TV show, to buffer against feelings of loneliness or social exclusion. Cognitive theories further explain the development of these bonds. The uncertainty reduction theory suggests that as viewers spend more time with a character, they seek information to reduce uncertainty and increase their ability to predict the figure's attitudes and behaviors. As attributional confidence increases, so does the level of intimacy and liking, mirroring the progression of real-world friendships and relationships. Additionally, the personal construct theory posits that people apply the same internal construct systems used to evaluate real-life acquaintances to media figures, making these relationships feel authentic and grounded. Individual personality traits, particularly attachment styles, also influence parasocial relationship formation. Research indicates that individuals with an anxious ambivalent attachment style, those who desire intimacy but fear rejection, often form the strongest parasocial relationships. For these individuals, the one-sided nature of a parasocial relationship provides a safe, predictable environment, where the friend is always available and cannot hurt or abandon them in the same way a real-life partner might. Social media interactions strengthen parasocial bonds by transforming the traditionally distant relationship with media figures into something more accessible, personal, and seemingly interactive. According to psychological research, social media strengthens these bonds in multiple ways. The episodic interpersonal engagement. While parasocial relationships remain fundamentally one-sided, social media allows for momentary episodes of computer-mediated interpersonal engagement. When a media figure retweets a fan's post or likes a comment on Instagram, these brief moments of actual reciprocity significantly increase the strength of the enduring parasocial bond. The perceived backstage access. Social media provides fans with glimpses into both the professional and personal backstage lives of media figures. The frequency and perceived authenticity of these self-disclosures accelerates social-emotional connections because the figure seems more real and reachable than a traditional celebrity. On platforms like Instagram, the functionalities for engaging with a media figure are identical to those used for close friends. An individual follows, likes, and comments on an influencer's posts in the same feed where they interact with offline acquaintances, which blurs the psychological lines between social and parasocial relationships. Social media apps, like Twitter or YouTube, are often perceived as more informal and intimate than traditional television. Features like live streaming make media personae more accessible, allowing fans to feel like they are spending time with the figure in real time, which was particularly salient for maintaining social connection during the isolation of the COVID-19 pandemic. Fans can strengthen their bond not just through direct interaction, but by observing the media figure interact with other fans. This allows the user to vicariously experience intimacy and social support, reinforcing their sense of belonging to a community centered around that persona. When media figures embrace specific social causes, such as the Black Lives Matter movement, it strengthens the bond with followers who share the same identity. This creates a sense of solidarity and community that makes the parasocial relationships feel like a meaningful partnership in collective action. The impact of parasocial relationships on mental health is multifaceted, offering both significant benefits and potential risks. On the positive side, parasocial relationships often function as symbolic sources of social support, eliciting positive effect and helping individuals manage life stressors. In times of difficulty, these bonds can facilitate coping processes. For example, collectively mourning the death of a celebrity on social media may allow individuals to process grief, experience shared emotions, and feel connected to a broader community. Parasocial relationships also represent powerful mechanisms for health promotion. When public figures openly disclose personal health struggles, such as Tom Hanks announcing his COVID-19 diagnosis or Bella Hadid advocating for mental health awareness, followers with a strong parasocial tie are more likely to seek health-related information and adopt preventive behaviors. Such disclosures can further contribute to destigmatizing mental health conditions, including depression and anxiety, by normalizing open discussion and modeling vulnerability. For marginalized groups, parasocial relationships may play a particularly significant role in identity development. LGBTQ youth, for instance, often engage with LGBTQ media figures to explore aspects of their identity and seek validation, especially when offline environments lack support. In this context, parasocial relationships can foster well-being by promoting self-acceptance, authenticity, and personal growth. Despite their benefits, however, parasocial relationships can also negatively affect mental health, particularly through processes of social comparison. Exposure to influencers who present highly curated and idealized portrayals of their lives, body dissatisfaction, diminished self-esteem, and depressive symptoms. This dynamic is especially pronounced on visually oriented platforms such as Instagram, where upward comparisons to idealized images are frequent and often unavoidable. In rare cases, parasocial relationships may develop into borderline pathological forms of celebrity worship. This extreme involvement is characterized by obsessive preoccupation with a media figure and, in some instances, a distorted perception of reciprocity. Individuals may begin to expect personal acknowledgement or emotional exchange, blurring the boundary between mediated and real-life relationships. Such dysfunctional attachments can result in social withdrawal if parasocial bonds increasingly substitute for reciprocal interpersonal relationships. Moreover, the dissolution of a parasocial bond, whether due to a celebrity's death or the conclusion of a television series, can produce genuine emotional distress, sometimes described as a parasocial breakup, which may temporarily affect emotional stability. So basically, in conclusion, we could say that parasocial relationships are really complex socio-emotional bonds that can function as both supplements and, in some extreme cases, alternatives to real-world social networks. They emerge from fundamental human needs for belonging, cognitive processes aimed at reducing uncertainty, and individual attachment patterns. While they offer substantial potential for social connection, emotional coping, and mental health advocacy, they also carry many risks associated with maladaptive social comparison and an obsessive engagement. As digital media environments continue to evolve, the psychological and communicative implications of these intimate strangers are likely to remain a central focus of ongoing research. So, after having observed the phenomenon for myself and having done extensive research on the topic to understand its causes, it still left me wondering whether the obsessions we are seeing online are too normalized, or am I just simply being too dramatic? At this point, I think we have all heard of the problem of our society becoming more and more alienated and lonely, both because of getting more self-centered and quite frankly lazier to uphold social relationships, and also because of the satisfaction we experience through engaging with others online. Even though I have never considered myself to be an extreme fan of any actor, musician, or celebrity per se, I also see a lot of videos of people whose concerts I have attended on my For You page and can't help but click on an article about an actor I like. Despite the fact that I have had periods in my life when a certain well-known person has been on my mind more than they should have, I have never experienced any obsession which could have interfered with my offline friendships and relationships. However, I have come across multiple fans living in a much more extreme affection both offline and online. Quite frankly, these are the types of comments that have left me wondering about celebrity culture. Comments such as, "It makes me sick that I can't have him," or "I am so in love with him, it's not even funny anymore." Obviously, I cannot speak for an entire group of people, nor do I want to. I just want to give my own opinion about the topic. Namely, because I think this obsessive cult-like following of celebrities may stem off disillusionment, dissatisfaction, and disappointment with the social-cultural landscape of today's youth. I am by no means trying to point a finger at anybody, but I also have to mention the difficulties young people experience nowadays in the romantic scene. Let me quickly return to the topic of our generation becoming lonelier and the main loneliness epidemic, as people like to call this phenomenon online. Even though I have no statistics to back me up on this, the majority of strong parasocial relationships I have witnessed online are experienced by mostly young women. The same women who have been having hardships finding satisfying romantic connections. Somehow this is a connection I just can't seem to ignore. While being completely disillusioned by dating apps and finding a partner in general, they try to get their needs met in a different way, in a parasocial way. Just as the psychological research papers I have talked about earlier suggest, a partner who cannot disappoint, cannot disappear, and cause negative emotions. In an era where more and more women are realizing that maybe they don't even need a man in a way previous generations could not even have dreamt of, financially, for example. Who could even blame them for choosing an unattainable person to engage with instead of a real-life acquaintance who might leave them at any given time? Yeah, I know that this might be a pretty cynical take on the problem and would love to hear other opinions and remarks, so if you happen to have any on the topic, please just let me know.